Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So I got Juan Gotti in here for my weekly Washington football team live stream. Make sure you guys check him out. Link will be in the chat. Great Washington football team YouTuber on the road to 3,000 subscribers. So today's stream we're going to be talking about some of the biggest roster battles heading into the season and training camp positions we still need to address and talk about the quarterback position and who we think is going to be the starting quarterback and who we want the starting quarterback to be. How you doing, Juan?
Yeah, I'm doing, man. I'm great, man. Thank you for having me on, as always. Here to talk about our beloved Washington football team. Of course, there isn't much going on with the NFL as of right now. As we know, this is the dry spell right before the season happens. So, yeah, I'm just here, excited to be on, and grateful for you to have me on, man. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. Appreciate you coming on. What's up, three-time Super Bowl champ Skins? What's up, Sergio7? What's up, Terry McLaurin in the building? I got your jersey on. What's good, Sean? How you doing, King Sean? So, yeah, so we'll go ahead and we'll wait for some more people to get on, but first, we'll get started with, some of the biggest roster battles for the Washington football team. In our opinion, which one are we most intrigued by? So I'll let the chat, give a couple that they think are the most intriguing. What's one for you, Juan, like that you either think's the most important or the most interesting? Either, a position group or like one player against another.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll cover the position groups like later in the video, so I'll just keep it with the one that everyone's looking forward the most to in training camp, and that's Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Taylor Heineke. I mean, I told you guys countless in times on my channel that I personally don't think Ron Rivera is going to give a fair chance for Taylor Heineke to win. I personally think he already has Ryan Fitzpatrick penciled in as a starter, but obviously he wants to keep the fans intrigued and have this mystery going on. So he's going to obviously portray to us that he's giving a battle out for the starting quarterback position. Now, I could very well be wrong. That's just my theory and my opinion. I hope I'm wrong. Let me put that out there. I hope I'm wrong because I really do feel as if it is a real and true quarterback competition. I feel like Taylor Heineke could edge out Ryan Fitzpatrick in the department, but I just don't feel like he's going to get his fair opportunity, although they're saying he is. So if they are going to give him his fair opportunity to, become QB1 or at least compete for it, that's my most battle I'm looking forward to the most as far as player versus player.
Yeah, that should be interesting. What's up, Uriah? We'll see when we pick a new name. It's probably going to be, I think it's 2022 is when they said, so it's going to still be a while. Dakota said Steven Sims and De'Ami Brown. I think De'Ami Brown is a lock to make this team. But, Steven Sims, I don't think he'll make the, roster, but maybe there's a chance that if they decide to keep 7, maybe they keep him, but I still don't think he makes the roster. What's up, Armin Brown? Appreciate you coming in. What's up, Joe from San Antonio? Armin said Bostic versus Davis for middle linebacker. Yeah, that's definitely a good battle right there. I mean, Jamin Davis has been getting the first team reps at middle linebacker, but it was just minicamp, and I think it's more them seeing what he can do and if he's ready. Probably, though, I don't think that Davis is going to be the starting middle linebacker week 1. In my opinion, unless he really, really is ready, and that could be the case, but it might just be like he plays the Will, Cole Holcomb plays the Sam, and then Bostic plays in the middle, and then maybe sometime in the season, in the middle of the season, we'll have Davis transition into the middle linebacker role. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was just about to say I agree with that too. Either way we look at it, Jamin Davis is going to be a starter week 1. It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
it's middle linebacker or Will, but I personally agree. I think he's going to be playing the Will position, and then John Boss is going to play the middle to at least start the season, just because they have this obsession with John Bostic. I don't know why. So don't ask me why they have that obsession, but they really love John Bostic for some reason. So he's going to be the middle linebacker to at least start the season. And of course, Cole Holcomb is going to be your strong side, and then Jamin is going to be your weak side. But eventually, when we let go of Bostic either next year or if we bring him back, Jamin Davis is going to eventually become your middle linebacker at some point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, Jared Patterson, a lot of people like him. We'll see. He's also gonna have to fight to make the roster spot, but I really do like him, and I think he has a chance to make this roster. So one battle that really intrigues me is AGG versus Kelvin Harmon for that last roster spot, and even you can put in Dax Milne. Like out of those, Washington could keep 2 out of those 3, but if they're not, who out of those 3 steps up and becomes that 6th receiver? So I'm going to put a poll in the chat. Make sure you guys go ahead and answer that. So who will get the last receiver spot? AGG, Dax Milne, or Kelvin Harmon? What do you think, Juan, about that? Who do you think is going to get the last spot?
I think it's going. I think, in my opinion, well, first of all, in my opinion, I think Antonio Gandy Golden is a lock to make this roster only because they just spent the 4th-round draft pick on him, and his rookie season was washed away with injuries. So I personally think it's not really fair, or it's not in Washington's best interest to just cut AGG. So I think he is a lock in my opinion. But like I said countless times, I'm not surprised if they do move on from him, or if he does at least start the season on practice squad or something. But first of all, if we don't sign him, he's not making it through waivers. So we can kiss that practice squad dream goodbye. So it's either we keep AGG or in my opinion, I think he's gone. But if we're talking as far as them making the last roster spot, it's tough because I really, really like Kelvin Harmon. I really thought that he had something going for himself at the end of the 2019 campaign, and then obviously preparing for the 2020 training camp, he tore his ACL, and that was really a blow. Not only because he got his second year was washed, but it had very so happened when we got a new regime and coaching staff, so they're yet to see him play. So obviously he's going to have to work 10 times harder than the guys that they were drafted under Ron Rivera in this new regime. Kelvin Harmon is going to have to work 10 times harder. But honestly, if it was up to me, I would personally keep Kelvin Harmon because I feel like he's way more better than Antonio Gandy Golden. He proved something, but I would not be surprised if it's the other way around about that because they drafted Antonio Gandy Golden and they didn't draft Kelvin Harmon.
Yeah, I think it definitely could change, but right now I think AGG will edge out Harmon, not necessarily because I think he's a better player, just because of, like you said, Ron and them just drafted him in the 4th round last year. And yes, the front office is a lot different, but there's still some guys from the front office that drafted him, and Ron Rivera is obviously still here. So I think he makes it, and make sure you guys vote in that poll. So far, 42% of you guys think that AGG will get the last spot, and 33% of you guys think Milne, and then 25 of you think it'll be, or 25% think it'll be Harmon. So yeah, it's going to be a interesting battle. I think Milne, unless he really, really impresses in camp, he might be more of a practice squad guy unless they really think he's their best option at punt returner, and then I think he makes the roster. But yeah, AGG from this regime didn't really have a rookie year. I mean, if you think about it, no OTAs, no mini camp. Then in training camp, he has a concussion. He's out for he's out for most of training camp, and then once the season starts, he plays a couple games. Nothing special. Has a catch and has like a 30-yard rush, and then he has that hamstring injury, which keeps him out for almost the whole season. Comes back, just wasn't that great. So let's see what he can do this year. And let's say hi to some people in the chat. What's up, Smitty? What's up, Hassan? What's up, Lloyd? What's up, Kwesi? And yeah, a bunch of people talking about Fisk Vegas. You want to say anything about Fisk or not?
I don't really want to talk about him. I just, I understand the entertainment purposes, but I just don't like when he speaks on the Washington football team personally because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But all the other teams he talks about are cool because one, I don't really care about it, and two, he is an entertaining person. I gotta say that. But when he just speaks on the Washington football team, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Hence, why every time he makes a Washington football team video, it's the most disliked video. It has more dislikes than it has likes, and we as a fan base go in on him in the comment section because he doesn't know what he's talking about. But we're not going to give him too much shine. He doesn't need it, and this is centered around the Washington football team. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think a lot of his things are a little like over exaggerated as well, at least when it comes to the Washington football team. Someone else asked a question. Let's see, who do you guys, Lloyd asked, who do you think will be the punt returner then? That's another one that I was going to bring up as a really intriguing roster battle. What do you think about that one? Who do you think makes it as a, or who do you think will be our punt returner slash kick returner? It could be, a different person for each.
Yeah, so with that, that's actually an interesting battle. I mean, obviously you have Dax Milne and you have obviously Adam Humphries who can return punts, and even if Steven Sims makes the roster, I hope it doesn't happen, but they're gonna obviously give him a chance to go back there and try to fill punts again. But me personally, if it was, I would honestly have Danny Johnson as the kick returner, and I would even give Danny Johnson a chance to be the punt returner because I never understood, and all of us in here, we never understood why they didn't last year take off Steven Sims for punt returns for Danny Johnson. I mean, Danny Johnson did solid on kick returns, and arguably Steven Sims did better when as a kick returner his rookie year than he did punt returns. So I honestly think it's going to be Danny Johnson kick return and probably Adam Humphries punt returns. But I wouldn't be surprised if DeAndre Carter gets a chance to do that. Dax Milne, because you heard about him possibly doing that. But I think it's going to go Danny Johnson kick return, and I think Adam Humphries punt return.
Yeah, and let me say what's up, Celeste. And yeah, we'll answer Terry McLaurin's question in a little bit. But yeah, it would be nice if they can get one guy for both because, just because all these guys that have the potential to make it are like borderline guys. Like if Danny Johnson wasn't a punt returner or wasn't a kick returner, he wouldn't make the team. He got 0 defensive snaps last year. So I just think that it would be nice. Like if Danny Johnson can be our punt returner and kick returner, that would be great. He was solid as a kick returner last year. And, we don't need a flashy punt returner. Just catch the ball and, occasionally get us a solid run. That's all we need. If he can do that, I think he can make the roster. And Milne as well. Like he could make the roster, but I just don't think you want to have two different guys because like those guys are going to be back end of the roster guys because like if you keep Danny Johnson as your kick returner and Milne, you keep him on the roster just because you want him as a punt returner, you're kind of wasting, two spots because you're just using those guys as returners. So hopefully they can keep one that can do both. And, if that's a receiver, if that's DeAndre Carter, or if that's Danny Johnson, that's fine. But I think they need to keep one.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I personally think they're only going to go with Adam Humphries for punt return because one, he's already on the roster, and we know he's
Yeah.
going to make the roster for slot, and he has a bunch of history being a punt returner. So, like you said, I totally agree. Of course, we would love for a punt returner to be flashy. I don't think we had somebody like that since Brandon Banks, and that's been a while. And honestly, like you said, yeah, occasionally we would want you to return the punt and give us a spark, or if not, take it to the house. But other than that, we just need you to corral the ball. And I mean, Steven Sims was just so terrible. I even made a song about it. So like that's how it was just terrible. So like yeah, I do agree.
Yeah, and then let's see. And yeah, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and sub up to Juan. Juan Gotti Talking Sports, great Washington football team YouTuber. So Terry asks, who do you guys think will win the free safety spot? So that's a good question. I will go first on this one. It's tough because you got really, what, four guys that could win it. You got Bobby McCain, DeShazer Everett, Jeremy Reeves, and Derek Forrest. I'm gonna go with the safe option, and I'm just gonna go Bobby McCain, because been playing pretty good in training or in mini camp. He in those few practices had like 3 picks, I think. And then he, a veteran guy, played in Miami for a while, and played solid the last couple years. So I think he will probably start week 1, but we definitely wouldn't be surprised if someone else like DeShazer Everett was.
Yeah, well, so with that, honestly, exactly what you said, Bobby McClain, Derek Forrest, and then you have DeShazer Everett and Jeremy Reeves, and Cameron Curl is the 5th guy, because although we know Cameron Curl can was the playing strong last year, filling in for Landon Collins, he's able to play free safety and cornerback, and with Landon Collins coming back, and especially if he's healthy to start off the season, I really hope, and I don't pray for no one to be hurt, but I just don't like Landon Collins, man. You guys know that he robbed us of $85 million. I don't know which one was worse, Josh Norman or Landon Collins. Probably Josh Norman, just because he was more hyped around that time. But you get what I'm saying. He robbed us of $85 million. He hasn't lived up to that. I can't even remember more than 3 games, if that, of him really balling out and making game-changing plays. He's making game-changing money and hasn't done none of that for us. But I'm going to get off topic here. With Landon Collins, if he comes back healthy week 1, he's starting strong safety. As much as some of us don't want it to happen, it's the reality. They're going to start him at strong safety. So you have 5 people really is fighting for free safety. I mean, Cameron Curl, like I said, Derek Forrest, Bobby McClain, and also DeShazer Everett and Jeremy Reeves. So it's going to be fun to watch, but I do think Bobby McClain might get the edge. I really want Ron Rivera to put out Cameron Curl as strong and DeShazer Everett at free, just because of what they did last year. Before DeShazer Everett went down, they were actually building something nice right there. But it's a good problem to have. We have a bunch of guys that's capable of playing free safety, and all those guys can come in there and play at a high level. Even Jeremy Reeves, when DeShazer Everett went down, he filled in for DeShazer, and he played well in that Pittsburgh game. So we have a good problem here in Washington as far as the safety positions. But if it was up to me, I personally do think Bobby McClain is going to win the free safety position to at least start the year. But I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to Derek Forrest, because he lit up minicamp, and who's to say that he doesn't do the same in training camp?
Yeah, I think we'll see. Cameron Curl, that thing is going to be interesting if they, if Landon Collins is healthy, what do they do with that? Because I think Cameron Curl has been way better than Cameron Curl's last season was much better than Landon Collins was in his first 2 seasons, or first season and a quarter in Washington. So we'll see. It'll be really here's the thing. Here's why I think they might actually start Curl over Collins, because they kind of know that that Landon Collins is gonna be gone after this season. So why jeopardize Cameron Curl's growth and possibly even stunt his growth by starting Landon Collins? Maybe they'll put him in that big nickel position, rotate him into the box, not necessarily as a linebacker, but a few plays where he's in the position where he kind of looks like a linebacker. Put him a few plays there, put him a lot at big nickel, and then obviously rotate him in at strong safety a couple plays if Cameron Curl needs a breather. But yeah, that safety position is going to be very, very intriguing. So I think Armin talked about the left guard position. What do you think about that? Like the competition there, and who do you think wins that job?
Yeah, that's another position similar to the safety position. We have a whole bunch of people that can play that one position. I mean, I'm talking Wes Schweitzer, Sadiq Charles, Eric Flowers, and even Keith Ishmael, who's our backup center. He was able to be a swing guard coming out of college. I believe it was San Diego State where he was coming out of, and he's even center/guard. So we have so many players that can even play the left guard position. So it's going to be fun to see. But I think they're going to give the edge to, that's tough. I want to say Eric Flowers at least to start the year. I don't know, because they weren't here when Eric Flowers had his phenomenal year with us, but I'm pretty sure they're aware. I think I'm going to go Wes. I think I'm gonna go Wes Schweitzer to win the left guard job just because of how phenomenal he was last year. I mean, this guy was a stud for us. He was very underrated. I forgot who it was at. What it, was it? I don't think it was Jabril Peppers. Somebody against the Giants. He posted the video on his Instagram and he absolutely mauled the guy, man. The dude Wes Schweitzer was phenomenal for us. So I say he is gonna win the job to at least start the year, but all these guys are capable of winning the left guard job. Even some Sadiq Charles, Wes Schweitzer, Eric Flowers, and even Keith Ishmael, like I mentioned. So
Yeah, I think it'll be Wes, but honestly, like you said, wouldn't be surprised at all with either Wes, Sadiq, or Eric Flowers to start. I would not sleep on Sadiq Charles though, just because I think if he's healthy, I really think they like him, and they might want to develop him as a guard if Sheriff leaves next offseason. I think they will do that. But yeah, that's a very very intriguing position. Someone said we need more cornerbacks. What do you think about that?
I'm trying to think. So William Jackson, Kendall Fuller, Jimmy Moreland, those are assuming to be our three to be starters. I mean, I know Bobby McClain could also play this slot. I think Danny Johnson is labeled as a corner, but he really hasn't got any reps there. So yeah, I kind of agree with that because I don't honestly off the top of my head, and I know it if I think about it or if they put it in the chat or even if you say it. I don't really know our depth all that well outside of like we really now thinking about it, we don't really have that much depth at cornerback. I mean, William
Yeah,
Jackson, Fuller, like I said, and Moreland is our three to start,
and
assuming.
St. Juice too.
Yeah, oh yeah, St. Juice. I forgot about St. Juice. Dang, how did I forget about him? He was lighting it up. But that's who actually, now speaking of it, St. Juice is the guy who I personally would start on the other outside of
Oh yeah,
William Jackson and then put Kendall Fuller in the slot. Like I said, Kendall Fuller, he can play a hell of an outside corner, but he made his money in the slot. So we put the Kendall Fuller in the slot, and then we put St. Juice on the outside and Fuller and William Jackson as our number one. That's a great cornerback trio right there. So yeah, outside of those guys, I agree because the depth is not that good.
yeah. I mean, the depth isn't great. You also got Daryl Roberts in there who has some
Mhm.
experience. So I don't think the depth is great. But if you have St. Juice on the outside, I think Jimmy Moreland as your like rotational cornerback is pretty good in my opinion. And then throw in Daryl Roberts and someone else as well. Yeah, but they could definitely, especially if an injury happens, they could go out and sign another cornerback. But yeah, I like how the position is going because I think they're set up for success because Kendall Fuller under contract for 3 years. St. Juice is under contract for 4. And is William Jackson, was it a 3-year deal?
Yeah, I think it was a three.
Yeah, it was like a 3 or 4 year deal. So this secondary is going to be really good for at least the next few years, especially behind this defensive line. I'm excited to see what they can do. Let's see.
And not
Zay,
to mention, oh my bad, and not to mention, Kendall Fuller is only 26 years old, and he's what, and William Jackson is probably what 28 or 27, one of those.
I think
So
he's 26.
26. Yeah, so Kendall Fuller, he went through a whole, I believe, what, 2 maybe 3 years with Washington when he first came into the league. Then he went to Kansas City for a couple years, won a Super Bowl, made the game winning Super Bowl play. Now he's back here and he's only 26 years old. So he still has a lot more room to grow, all while being that veteran leader in that secondary. So just like our wide receiving core, our secondary is very, very young.
Yeah, you were right about Jackson, 28. So I mean, still relatively young. Sergio said, I've learned to never get too hyped because it never works out. I got hyped for Dwayne, Haskins, Landon Collins, and Norman and Doxson. And one thing I'll say about Norman, I think Collins has been worse than Norman because Norman actually, like, if you think about it, his first, like, at least his first season in Washington, he was really good. Like, it wasn't like the interceptions weren't there, but he was still, like, really good in coverage, was a good cornerback his second year. Every year he got slightly worse. And obviously, that last season and the season before that was awful. But I think Landon Collins, I mean, his first year, he was okay. Like, he was like okay starting safety, but not a 15 mil a year guy. This year, the first 5-6 games of the season, he was awful. The Cowboys game when he got hurt, he was playing good. But yeah, Landon Collins. I'm happy though that we'll be able to get out of the contract after this season. And we're like 5th in cap space right now. We're gonna, if we get rid of him, we're gonna be, even more in a better cap situation. Let's see. Another question from Terry McLaurin. When we talk about the future of the front four, who would you consider re-signing?
Well, obviously, consider resigning everyone, but knowing that can't happen, I think Duran is going to get resigned. Remember for a while, we were actually considering not resigning Jonathan Allen. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and Pedro. We were actually talking about it on one of the streams about that being a possibility of him not coming back because yeah, he's good and all, but he hasn't been the best out of the group. So if you were to have to get away one guy, it would be John, even though he has been phenomenal for us, just not better than Duran, not better than Matt Ioannidis, in my opinion. And arguably Tim Settle is a better player than John from an aspect of being able to create pressure and also being able to stop the run. That's one thing that I do think Jonathan Allen lacks. And he's, like I said, a phenomenal player. But as you've seen last year, they weren't able to create interior pressure that much often. Matt Ioannidis and Tim Settle are your guys that come off the bench and be able to create pressure in the interior and allow your edge rushers to get there. But like I said, to consider re-signing all four, obviously knowing that's not true. John's going to get paid before training camp is what I'm hearing. If not that, he's going to still get paid. Duran's getting paid. Chase is getting paid. So I think that unfortunately that guy that we might end up having to get away is Montez, but I don't even want to think about that because it's so long away. But I do think Montez is that guy that we don't resign and we possibly let him walk a free agency, or we do try to trade him before then for a boatload of picks, or even John Allen maybe. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think Montez being a guy that, knowing him and Chase Young are guys that's going to be won hundreds of $1 million contracts as far as the combined overall price is going to cost to resign them, that's more realistic than giving away John. So obviously consider resigning all four, but knowing that's not going to happen.
Yeah, what's up, Door Gunner? And yeah, it's tough. I would try to keep the two edge guys, and if you're not going to pay one of them, either Allen or Payne, just because I'm just thinking about those four right there. Like Ioannidis, I don't know if it's going to be possible to keep him. Depends on how much he's asking for. But in terms of Allen, Payne, Sweat, and Chase, I personally I have a different opinion than what I think is going to happen. I think they're going to re-sign Allen. Personally, if they think they won't be able to keep all four, I would probably move on from Allen before I would move on from Payne. But I know they value the culture a lot, and especially, Jonathan Allen is exactly what they want in the Washington football team's culture. So I don't think he's gonna, I think they're gonna re-sign him this season. We'll see though. We will see. Payne. The reason why I like Payne a little bit more is because Payne is younger. I think he's got a little bit more talent. Hasn't gotten hurt in his career. Allen's gotten like 2 years worth of injuries, and he came out with that shoulder issue. But I think Payne, he creates some more pressure, or at least gets the quarterback a little bit more. At least this past season he did. But if they can find a little, way to keep all four of them, sign me up. But the only way they do that is if they keep, if they don't have, if they draft a rookie quarterback and that's their quarterback of the future. Let's see. Collins can go. If is anyone here going to training camp or games? I think I'm going to go to training camp day. Might go to a game or two. Definitely, I'm going to go to a preseason game if I can. Let's see. Juan, are you going to any games? You good? All right, I think Juan's having some technical difficulties, but I could hear you, Juan, if you can hear me. But yes, this season will be fun. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys are going anywhere. What if Matt Ioannidis gets double-digit sacks next season? How much will he want? That's tough because I think he's a free agent not after this season, but after next season. So I don't know. I think I would try to re-sign him, but they've got him under a pretty good deal right now. If he gets double-digit sacks, he's going to be wanting a lot of money. I think he's under the books for like $6 to $8 million. And yeah, Door Gunner said, I got good seats for sale, so make sure you guys hit him up if you're looking for to go to a Washington football team game. I know he's a season ticket holder. Let's see. But yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep all four. And I'm gonna put a poll out, but also you guys can answer in the comments down below. Who are you re-signing out, or who are you not re-signing out of Payne, Allen, and Sweat? I mean, it's a tough decision, but I would probably say Payne. Let me know down below in the comments. We'll also soon talk about positions that we still need to fix. I think, Juan, you're back in here.
Yeah, I was like, why can't I hear anything? But I have the same headphones, like another pair, and I had those in instead of having the ones that were plugged in. My bad. I was like, whoa.
No,
But yeah,
you're
I'm
good.
back.
You're good. Are you going to any games this year or preseason? That's what you.
Well, preseason, I don't know yet, but I am thinking about going to either the Chargers or Giants game. I'm leaning more towards the Giants game just because of
Wait.
it's a
I think
division
you're lagging a little bit.
game, but the Chargers game might be intriguing too because it's going to be packed, huh?
I think you were lagging a bit. I
Oh,
couldn't
okay.
really
Am
hear
I
you.
back now, or am I still lagging?
You're not lagging right now, but I think you're frozen on the screen.
Am I good
But
now?
I can hear you. I can hear you. So let me just put that poll question there. Who would you not re-sign? Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you, but I
Am I good
can't.
now?
Let me see. I can
Oh,
hear
okay.
you, but
All
you're
right.
still frozen. All right. So let's see. I see some
Okay, now
people.
I'm good now. You can see me?
You're still frozen, but I can hear you. Payne over Allen. Gunner says
Okay,
Payne
but
over
I was
Allen.
just basically saying that
Oh, I'm not sorry, guys. I'm not sure what happened. One's having some technical difficulties. Um, but I am like, I know a lot of people usually make fun of the preseason. I think Juan's back. I know a lot of people make fun of the preseason and say how boring it is, but yeah, you're good now. But
okay.
I really missed it last year, and I think it really, really would have helped us. I really think it would have helped us last year, and I'm super, super excited to see a lot of players. What's one player you're excited to see, Juan?
Only one. I don't know. That's tough. Oh well, first obviously I'm excited to see the whole gang, and obviously preseason is boring, you know what I mean. But when you don't have it for a year, you kind of want it back. So I'm glad we're getting it back. But one player, I don't know if I can narrow it down to one. Why not just go with Jamin Davis? Why not? I'll just go with Jamin, but I don't know. I will honestly just be excited to see all the guys, but one Jamin.
Yeah, I personally, and I'm sorry, guys, I'm putting out the poll question again, but I'm excited to see the quarterback position. I'm excited to see Heineke and Fitzpatrick and see how, Heineke looks, because we really haven't seen him play besides that 1.5 games here in Washington. What's another player you want to see? Give me a couple, actually. Give me a couple.
I'm gonna just try to do new people instead of doing, because obviously Chase, we want to see Chase, we want to see Tiz, we want to see all the returning players. So new players. Fitzpatrick, I would be excited to see him, see if he still got it. You know what I'm saying? See if he's going to be better and build off of what he did in years 16 and 15. I'm excited to see Jamin, like I said. I'm actually excited to see Derek Ford, see what he can do in the actual game, and him and St. Juice are in the same boat because they've been lighting it up. But it obviously doesn't mean anything till they do it in the game. So I want to see them do it in the game, and I think that might be it. I mean, I want to see what John Bates got. I hope Samus Reyes gets some burn in preseason, but I don't know if they are going to give him a chance to. But I think that's it for the guys that I'm excited to see as far as new guys, because all the returning guys we know we're psyched to see them. So
Yeah, I'm excited, and I put the poll out, so make sure you guys go ahead and answer that. I'm excited to see, obviously, the new guys, Curtis Samuel, William Jackson a little bit, both the quarterbacks, honestly, all the quarterbacks. Excited to see those guys. Excited to see Jarrett Patterson, De'Ami Brown, all the rookies. I think this preseason, especially the first couple games, the last game might be, most of the guys that are they're, either playing for practice squad roster spots or the last couple roster spots. That's going to be a boring game, but I feel like the first couple games should be really fun to watch, how the team looks, and, because we can hear all we want in these, training camp days that we hear about from the media, but we actually need to see it to confirm it, because we were hearing a lot out of the media last year about how good Troy Apke looked, and yeah, he probably looked really good in training camp, but it's different when you actually go into real game situations. And yeah, Troy Apke, obviously, we all know how that worked out last season. So let's see how the poll is looking. So far, most people would not re-sign John Allen. There's some people voting for Chase Young. Not sure why, but let's see. Chris, appreciate the $5 donation. Says, "What's up, Pedro and Juan? You guys do a great job keeping updates and making videos. Hail to the Washington football team." Really appreciate
thank
that,
you.
Chris. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate the support. Really helps out a ton. And thanks for coming in here, man. And yeah, make sure you guys sub up to Juan too, because he puts out a lot of good Washington football team content. Let's see. James says, "Do you guys think that our DBs are looking good because our QBs aren't top tier?" I mean, here's the thing about you have to take all of these things with a grain of salt when you hear these updates, because Fitzpatrick, for example, I think he said, or Ron Rivera, someone said, he's not really throwing to where it should be to get completed. He's kind of throwing where the receiver should be, because he wants to, create some good chemistry, and he wants to, that's where he wants the receivers to be. So that's where he's throwing it to. So maybe a couple of the interceptions from Fitz and even Heineke were because of that. They're just trying to get their chemistry. The DBs, sure, it helps to have chemistry with the other DBs, but the receiver and quarterback have to be on the same page to be good. And Fitzpatrick is new, Curtis Samuel is new, so I think they're still getting acclimated. But our defense though is supposed to be our strength. Though that's the thing, our defense is supposed to be our strength. So even when these guys get situated, when they've been here for a while, our defense is still going to be dominating, or should be dominating in the in the practices. What's your take on that?
Yeah, before I actually answer that, I don't know if they're trolling or not, but 46% of the people,
I
or 48 now, are saying not resign Chase.
I
And
think, I don't know. You guys can comment down if you did vote to not sign Chase Young. I think it might be them thinking who would you re-sign? Maybe they didn't read the full question. They thought it was who would you re-sign? But the
yeah,
question is, who would you not re-sign? So if you guys did vote for Chase Young, maybe switch that up, because I mean, he's our best player. He's our
But
best. Yeah, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, yeah. But if that is totally how you feel, then don't change. But if you misread it, then change it. But if that's how you feel, totally, like if you wouldn't resign Chase, understandable. But put it down below why. And as far as James's question, nah, I don't think it's because our quarterbacks are are bad or whatnot. I just think, as per usual, just like last year, the defenses always dominate mini camps, and we didn't have one last year. But defenses tend to dominate mini camps, training camps, OTAs, just because they don't really have to. I'm not going to say they don't have to get chemistry like you just said, or have to build that rapport, but it's more so for the offense to have to build up that chemistry with the quarterback, with the receivers. So obviously the defense are going to be way better than the offense from the start. But don't be surprised as once Fitzpatrick or Taylor Heineke builds that chemistry, they start lighting up the offense or defense. Right? They did show some clips from minicamp of that happening, but totally, it's fine. It's not because our quarterbacks are terrible. That defenses just tend to dominate the offense in minicamps and training camps. So.
Yeah, and Gunner brought up a good point as well. Defense is usually ahead of the offense at this part of camp. Exactly. Not worried about the picks right now. Totally agree. We'll see, though. Let's see. So, yeah, I mean, I think we'll see how Fitzpatrick does. I think he will be the starter. We'll talk about this actually right now. Who do you think will be the starter? I mean, we kind of talked about it earlier, but, we got some more people in the chat. So, who do you think will be the starter, and who do you want the starter to be?
I personally think Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be the starter, but who I want to be the starter is Taylor Heineke. I just feel like he performed on the big stage, and I know it's just a game, but I would like to see him get a chance to see what he can do in a full season, or at least multiple games, because he hasn't been able to play a full game, and full game healthy, that is, because he did come back in the Tampa Bay game, but he hasn't been able to finish the game healthy, and I want to see if he has the ability to do that. So I want to see him win this job, and I really hope he wins this job. And they even said at minicamp, and take it with a grain of salt, but they said that he was more consistent than Ryan Fitzpatrick. So if he's like that in training camp, you need to give him the starting job. There's no reason to just make Fitzpatrick the starting job just because you want to. Like you said, Ron, you're going to make this a open competition. So give Taylor a fair chance. And if Taylor just isn't ready, then I totally understand that. But I think Taylor should be the starter in my opinion. But I do think they're going to roll with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Here's the one thing, guys, to keep in mind when, yes, Heineke might have outplayed Fitzpatrick in minicamp, but, I mean, there's kind of a reason why. First, this is not the main reason, but Heineke's been in the system for a while. But the second and the main reason, Fitzpatrick is going up against Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Matt Ioannidis. Heineke is going up against Casey Toohill, Shaka Toney, and the second string secondary. So that contributes to, their level of play. Heineke still, though, has looked good, but I want to see Heineke get some first-team reps and see how he compares to Fitzpatrick when he's playing against the ones.
Well, yeah, that's true too. You know what I'm saying? He did play a bunch against twos, but Zach Selsby did put on his Twitter when minicamp was happening is that he was getting some reps with the ones, and he still was looking, good with the ones. So that is true, but at the same time, he got some chances with the ones, and he didn't disappoint. But once again, it's just minicamp. Take it with a grain of salt, and hopefully, he can do it in training camp and in preseason. So yeah, that's just my take on it, but I really hope he can start, but we all know it's going to be Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, for me, I think it'll be Fitzpatrick, and I kind of do want it to be Fitzpatrick. I'm excited to see, at least for the, hey, there's no, harm in starting Fitzpatrick, and if he isn't the guy, you can go to Taylor Heineke. Fitzpatrick has shown that you can bench him, and he doesn't really take it personally. He comes back, and he's still strong. So I'm fine, giving Fitzpatrick that shot. And, yeah, if he's struggling and Heineke was looking super good in preseason, super good in camp, then after the first few games, you can transition to Heineke and see how he does. But Fitzpatrick has gotten that experience, and I think this is the best team, all around team, in my opinion, that he's played on, besides obviously the quarterback position. So let's see what he can do with this team. And I am excited to see what he can do. Eighth in QBR the last 2 years, number one quarterback under pressure. So I'm excited to see what he can do. Obviously, I'm definitely like, still cautious. Like, you're not. I'm kind of scared to see him because we all know like the picks and everything. But I do think in this situation with the weapons he has around him, I do think he will succeed. Hopefully, we'll have the first season in a long time where we don't have more than one quarterback playing. But we all know that either injuries are going to happen or something's going to happen to have more than one quarterback playing.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what Armin Brown said. He's basically said that Taylor Heineke's performance against the Bucks was good and all, but it was based off of defenses not having any film on them. And yeah, now that defenses have a whole offseason to see what Taylor Heineke can do, that's still just one game. So at the same time, yeah, they have some film on them, but it's just one game, so they really don't have that much. They have that one game that they can go off of, and Taylor Heineke has obviously improved since then from a skills standpoint and also from getting some weight on him. I believe he added 15 pounds of muscle on him, so it's going to be fun to see what he can do. And as far as I believe what's his name? James had another question. It was about, do you think Settle could become a starter? I'll answer that first. But with Settle and Matt Ioannidis, they would be starters on any other team. And it's simple as that. Any other team in the NFL, they would be their two starting D tackles. But just because John is so good and Duran is so good, they're backups. And quite frankly, maybe backups is just what they best suit them. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, yeah, they have the talent to be starters, but maybe they're just, that guy that can be, as far as basketball, the sixth man, or in baseball, you can be the pinch hitter that comes in the bottom of the eighth or seventh to, give your team the go-ahead run. You know what I'm saying? So they could be those guys. Maybe that's what best suits them, but definitely they would be starters on any other team, and they could eventually become starters if they, we don't re-sign them, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll get a better, feel on Heineke in preseason as well. He's going to get a few games to play. Excited to see what he can do there. Let's see. Also, Splitzery said Fitz better have some strong legs or he's going to go down in FedEx. Well, they actually are redoing the field. Like, they're taking 14 inches of subsoil out and replacing that, adding in better irrigation system, which I like. So the field should not be a problem. What's up, Casper Hill? So I like that they're doing that because, yeah, a lot of people in the past have complained about our field. So the poll right now, and if you guys haven't voted, make sure you guys go ahead and vote. Remember, it's who would you not re-sign? And right now, it's actually tied between Jonathan Allen and Chase Young. So again, if you guys misread it, go ahead and put Chase, or take out Chase. But if not, then go ahead and keep him as the guy you would not re-sign. But let us know in the comments down below why you would not. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just about to ask a question for you and the guys that I was thinking about making a video on it, but I don't think it really calls for a video. But it was just one question. So here's what I was thinking. Would you rather, for you and the guys in the room and the girls in the room that's in the chat, put it down below, would you rather have RG3 2012 and say he doesn't get hurt but still doesn't know the outcome of his career, but assuming that he's coming off of a Rookie of the Year season, he's going to be good. Let's just say he doesn't get hurt. Would you rather have that RG3 2012 as of right now? But once again, you got to keep in mind we don't know what his career would have outcome. But assuming that he's coming off a season like he did, he would be good. Or would you have what we're having now, a whole rebuild and looking up? Me personally, I would still keep this hindsight 2020. But at the same time, I would not be mad if RG3 never got hurt, because I personally would stand by this and say that RG3, we would have at least an NFC championship appearance. I don't know about winning it or winning the Super Bowl, but I personally think I would like to say we would have a parent or two, but that's just something I want to bring up on the show and get your opinions on that.
I mean, for me, it's tough because RG3 was so talented, but I just don't know. Even if he didn't tear that ACL, like, he didn't know how to slide. He didn't know how to, like, take care of his body. So, like, what's saying he doesn't injure himself later? And also, like, he as the season went on, he did not want to be, do the read option offense. He wanted to transition more into a pocket passer, and he was not that in his first couple years. And I think that really, really hurt him. And like Sergio Seven said, he had an ego a little bit. So I honestly, like, RG3 was amazing, but I'm sticking with what we have right now because we get a solid quarterback. Like, even someone like Kirk Cousins on this team, obviously not like Kirk on this team would be great, just not $35 million or whatever he's making great. Like, I think that's where a lot of people have a problem with Kirk is like the money they're paying. He's still a solid quarterback though. He's still a good quarterback, but not worth the 30 plus, $35 million a year he is getting. So real quick, before we wrap up the stream, what are some positions that you still think we need to address? Not necessarily could be a starter, but also some depth.
Now thinking about it, like someone brought up, maybe cornerback. Other than that, I think that might be it. Maybe tight end still, but we know we just drafted John Bates. We got Logan Thomas and hopefully Samus Reyes, and we have Ricky Seals-Jones. I don't know. I think Ron and the guys actually did a very good job at depth. Linebacker and cornerback are probably my only two positions that still need upgrading at depth. I don't know. Other than that, I really, really think we're good because running back is very good with AG, JD, and assuming what's his name, Peyton Barber makes the roster and Jared Patterson. And then wide receiver, we know we have a bunch of depth there. Tight end, offensive line, we have a bunch of depth at that position. And all of our guys are versatile and they can all play different kind of positions. And then, I think linebacker and cornerback are my only two positions that I think needs to be filled with depth or at least more depth.
Yeah, I would say linebacker. I mean, you got Holcomb, you got Bostic, and you got Davis. But after that, I like Khalid Hudson. But after that, you really have no one. So maybe adding someone in there. I think defensive end definitely needs to be addressed, like as depth, obviously. Shaka Tony, William Bradley King, Casey Toohill. They need a veteran in there. They need a guy that someone like Melvin Ingram, Adrian Claiborne, like they need someone that they know that can compete at that position because you don't want to rely on 3 7th-round picks as your edge guys, especially like if Chase Young and Montez Sweat don't get hurt and they play all 16 games, it should not be an issue. But if Chase Young or Montez Sweat were to go down, of course, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if it does, you do not want Casey Toohill, William Bradley King, or Shaka Tony being a starter. Like, you do not, or even James Smith Williams. You want someone else. So I honestly do think they're going to bring in someone during training camp. We will see, like you said, linebacker would be a good one. Maybe some more tight end depth, but they did add Ricky Seals-Jones. But yeah, I think their depth is a lot better than it was before. Let's see. Sergio Seven says, would you rather relive the entire 2019 Washington season or get beat up by some of the strongest NFL players like Aaron Donald or Chase Young? Juan, you want to answer that?
Easy. I would relive the 2019 season. I mean, as painful as that was, and you guys could literally go back on the channel and on my channel and see how painful that was. But yeah, as painful as that was, I don't want to get hit by Chase Young. I don't want to get hit by Aaron Donald. I totally enjoy being able to function normal. So I would definitely just relive that 2019 season. You know what I'm saying? It was pain, but hey.
Yeah, I agree. And all that pain got us Chase Young, so
Yeah.
It's all good. So yeah, I think our depth though is much better than it was in the past. Maybe still could add another tackle. Really depends on if Sadiq, if they view him as a tackle or a guard. Maybe he's both. Maybe he can do both. But I'm liking the direction this team is going in. So what, and I mean, putting you on the spot here, but what is your like kind of record prediction, or maybe give me like a range for Washington this year?
Um, range, I would say tops 11-6 or 12-5, and realistically, I say 9-8 or 10-7 as my realistic record position prediction. But if all goes well, we could definitely go 12-5 or 11-6.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put that in the chat. How many wins will Washington get in 2021? I'm thinking like 9, 10 wins. I think that would be great, honestly. That gets you first place in the division, in my opinion. Definitely 10 wins, I think, will get you um, first place in the division. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the chat. But yeah, this you think we'll win the division?
No, I think Dallas, as much as their defense is terrible and as much as I hate the Dallas Cowboys, I do think they're the most talented team in this division. I do think we have a great chance to win this division, but just considering the fact of how the most important position in football is a concern for Washington, and Dallas has it figured out with Dak Prescott, the top 10 quarterback in the NFL. They're going to win the division as of right now. That then very well mean nothing. You know what I'm saying? From now into the end of the season, so much could have transpired. I'm talking injuries. Hopefully not. You know what I'm saying? I hope everyone can stay healthy, but injuries or just teams just being terrible can happen. You know what I'm saying? But I do think as of right now, Dallas is the favorites to win. Not saying we can't win it. You know what I'm saying? I do think, like I said, we have a strong chance to win it, but I do think Dallas is the favorites to win this division, and rightfully so.
If Fitzpatrick plays solid this year, like if he plays like he has like the last season and a half, I think we win the division, and I think we win 10, maybe 11 games. If he doesn't, that's when we win 8, 9 games and miss the playoffs. But I think the NFC East will be improved, but I don't think it's going to be that much improved. And the Cowboys, like they weren't even that great with Dak last year, and the year before. The year before they were 8-8 with Dak. So like, I mean, I think they're better defensively than they were last year. Really, not that much though. The only thing they really changed, they obviously drafted a bunch of players, but I mean, third, fourth, fifth round picks, rookies on defense usually don't make a huge impact. And they drafted Micah Parsons, but their biggest change was firing Mike Nolan and getting Dan Quinn in there. But I still don't think that's enough. In my opinion, Washington has a much. I think Washington's defense and Dallas's offense are pretty like on par in terms of like where they rank in the league. Maybe Washington's even a little bit higher, right? Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah,
Like they're both kind of top five. If you look at our offense versus their defense is bottom five in the league. At best, bottom 10. We're probably average on offense. You could say slightly below average, but that's still better than what the Cowboys are. So we'll see. It's going to come down to the quarterback position, but we'll see. And one last question. Do you think the Washington football team's quarterback of the future is on the roster, or do you think that they still need to look for one?
Um, I don't think the quarterback of the future for our team is on the roster. I do think they're going to look for one, whether it's free agency or draft. More than likely, it'll be the draft. Either way we look at it, whether we go out and get a veteran for the 1 year, and compete next year, or if we do go draft. But I do think our draft of the future, or sorry, our quarterback of the future is in this year's draft or in free agency. So no, I don't think the quarterback is on the roster.
Sorry, I'm muted. I agree. Heineke could be the quarterback of the future, but the chances aren't very high. I think it's the quarterback of the future not on the roster. And, they could get a disgruntled veteran, which, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson. Next year, who knows who the next one is? Or they could go for the draft. If they go for someone like Aaron Rodgers or one of those guys, then they're going to have to get rid of one, maybe two of their defensive linemen in terms of their big five. So that's something to keep in mind. But obviously, it's very, very worth it if you can get someone like Aaron Rodgers on the team or someone else. What's up, Alejandro, Niners fan here? It's going to be a good one. Good luck to you guys. I mean, I don't think we play you guys this year, but you guys play. I can't remember who they play in the NFC East. I think it's the Eagles this year, but that should be a good game. Hopefully, you guys win that. But yeah, I think NFC East will be a little bit improved this year, but I don't think it's going to be as improved as a lot of people think because I think the Eagles are still going to struggle. I think the Giants will get a little bit better, and so will the Cowboys, but I still think we should be able to get like 4 wins against NFC East.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with Armin Brown just said, I do agree with that. Dak is going to be a little different after injury, but still going to be. It's like as much as like I do not like the Cowboys or the Eagles or the Giants. Dak is a great quarterback. I mean, we wanted him here, or I'm gonna speak for
Yeah.
myself. I wanted him here free agency. Dak is a top 10 quarterback, arguably top 5 quarterback in NFL. It depending on his peak. He has. I don't know if I wouldn't say. Yeah, I take that back. I do think Dak Prescott has reached his peak. Let me say that, but he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback, even MVP candidate kind of quarterback. And as much as I, like I said, disagree with the Cowboys and the rest of the NFC East outside of Washington, you gotta call a spade a spade. You gotta be truthful. You gotta be 100%, and you can't be biased and delusional. Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in this division. He is a top 10 quarterback, and that's enough of me praising the Cowboys. I do that sometimes, and I hate when I do it because it just feels so nasty. But you got to be truthful over here, man. That's the only way people are gonna, respect
Yeah,
you.
I agree. He's a top 10 quarterback, but he doesn't. In my opinion, he doesn't really show up in the big. Yeah, he definitely doesn't show up in the big games. But we'll see how he reacts from that injury because that's definitely gonna play into who wins the division. So make sure we're gonna end the stream in a couple minutes here. We'll answer a couple questions, but appreciate you guys for coming in. Make sure to sub up me, sub up Juan, like the stream, and comment down any video ideas you guys have for us. It is the dry season, so we do need some video ideas. So put them in the chat. Yeah.
That's why I hate praising the Cowboys sometimes, man. I'm not a Cowboys fan. You just got to be truthful. You know what I'm saying? That's honesty right there. And yeah, same with going with Dak being a top 10 quarterback. He is a stat sheet stuffer in garbage time. He takes advantage of garbage time rather, as do every other quarterback. But yeah, that is true. You know what I'm saying? He has a bunch of stats because of garbage times because Dallas is getting blown out in a lot of these games. But at the same time, he's still a top 10 quarterback. But it's enough of me. You keep making me praise them. I'm done talking about the Cowboys, man. Cowboys suck.
Yeah. So again, guys, appreciate you guys for coming through. Let's see. Last question. At least for now. Eclipse says, "Do you think we are in on Washington, or do you think we are still in on Watson, especially with the legal stuff?" So I don't think right now, but here's the thing that we have to keep in mind, especially like with all the things like Washington has been accused of, like the like misconduct and stuff, like it's gonna look really bad if they bring in someone, especially like their face of the franchise, who is accused of doing the same thing. So they're gonna have to really make sure he's innocent before they trade him for him, and I think that's gonna be with any team. But at least for now, I think they're out on the Watson sweepstakes. But maybe later down the line, if Watson is innocent, they will try to trade for him because I still think, regardless, he doesn't want to be in Houston.
Yeah, I agree with that. But first, let me say, I personally don't think Washington was ever really in on the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. But now, assuming with everything that's coming out, I definitely don't think they're in on Deshaun Watson. But I could be wrong. But like I said, I personally don't think they were ever in on Deshaun Watson. But like I said, fine with what we got as of right now. But we'll see.
Yeah, we gotta get our quarterback of the future next off season though. I really do think that because our window, especially with our defensive line, is closing soon. So again, appreciate you guys for coming in. Subscribe if you guys are new, and appreciate everyone for coming in. Malik, Dorgunner, Armin Brown, Eclipse, Brian. Let's see, Dex, Sergio. Let's see. Yeah, appreciate all you guys for coming in, and peace.
Peace.